guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to a video called 7 Signs Canadians Are No Longer Welcome in the US 2025 Update. So this is a little kind of weird to me because I think neighboring countries tend to be really friendly with each other. Not always, but sometimes. And specifically, I think with the US and Canada, there's been historically a relationship between them as, I don't know, it's kind of normal. They share, I think, the largest sort of unprotected border. So, I don't know, it's kind of weird that they're no longer welcomed. Why? But let's check it out and comment, like, and subscribe.
The US-Canada border was the gold standard. No visas, no tension, just open roads and friendly neighbors. But in 2025,
kind of the ideal relationship between two countries.
Something's changed. Canadians are being fingerprinted, phones searched, and what used to feel like the world's easiest border now feels uncertain. Are Canadians still welcome, or is this the quiet start of something bigger? Something we haven't fully noticed yet?
Is that Canada?
Stick around until number 5. It's the one most Canadians still don't see coming. But before we dive in, hit that like button and subscribe. Because this isn't just a travel update. It's proof that even the friendliest borders can feel unfamiliar overnight. Number 1. The 30-day rule. Every year, nearly 1 million Canadian snowbirds escape the winter and head south to Florida, Arizona,
Snowbirds because they're migrating south where it's warmer.
California. For decades, the border felt seamless. 6 months, no paperwork, no stress. But in 2025...
I guess that's only for retired people because you can't spend 6 months in another country. What happens with work? I'm leaving. Hey, boss, I'm leaving when it's cold. See you in the spring.
Something changed. A new U.S. policy now requires Canadians to register online with immigration authorities if they plan to stay longer than 30 days. It's part of a larger effort to track...
Okay, so less than 30 days. I get it because it wouldn't be sort of a vacation. You're staying for a longer period. That's kind of it, I guess.
Long-term visitors. The process is simple, but many travelers don't even know it exists. And that's where the problems begin.
It's similar to what the EU does. Well, the USA does with the European Union. You have to fill some form or something, sort of like a visa, but not really.
Immigration lawyers say they're seeing confusion spike. Snowbird organizations are calling for exemptions. Some travelers have already received warnings. The Canadian Snowbird Association says the rule wasn't designed for tourists, yet it's being applied to them anyway. The effect is...
I don't know. Is it designed for tourists? I would assume yes. I don't know. This is complicated to me.
According to Statistics Canada, vehicle re-entries from the U.S. dropped nearly 32% this March compared to last year. Less traffic, more uncertainty. This isn't about a form.
I wouldn't think it's about the form. I think it's just about other things happening in the US that makes people and snowbirds don't go there.
About a shift from automatic trust to silent suspicion.
And also it's kind of weird that they're doing this by car because you would think I'm getting on an airplane, it's going to be faster.
And for Canadians used to 6 months of freedom, that new 30-day line doesn't just feel restrictive. It feels like a quiet test. One that asks, are you still welcome here or just tolerated?
Okay, so it's about the principle and not the actual hassle that this takes. I get it.
Number 2, your phone is no longer private. It used to be simple. You'd show your passport, answer a few quick questions, maybe get asked where you're staying. For most Canadians, crossing the U.S. border felt like walking into a familiar neighbor's house.
Yeah.
But in 2025, the border wants more. Your device.
Your phone.
Under U.S. law, border agents can search your phone or laptop without a warrant.
Is that legal? What? I thought it wasn't illegal for authorities to sort of search your phone if they don't have a warrant. Why would you? No, I'm not going to give you my phone.
You can scroll through your messages, photos, browser history, and social media, and you have no legal.
Okay, yeah, you can. You just have to give it to them, and they can just scroll through your phone, your private thing, your apps. What is this?
Right to refuse. A recent CBC investigation
Oh my god, I think I would go to jail because I'm getting my lawyer, I'm calling my lawyer, you can't do this, and it turns out I'm actually in the wrong? No way.
Revealed growing concern among Canadians. Travelers worry they'll be flagged or denied entry simply for holding different political views, religious beliefs, or personal opinions.
Yeah, whatever. This is dangerous. What?
One civil liberties expert put it plainly. You're exposing your entire life, and that life might be used against you.
Yeah, that's why your phone is private. What?
And now, even the Canadian government is warning its citizens to expect digital searches at the US border,
Oh my
with
god.
no clear cause and no requirement for explanation.
Oh my god, the worst part is that they don't have to give you an explanation. They're just gonna tell you, give me your phone, and you have to give it to them. And you don't have, okay, but why? There's no justification? No.
This isn't targeted, it's broad. Even a meme or a joke from years ago could become grounds for suspicion.
Yeah, you simply do not know. This is dangerous.
In 2025, the US border still opens, but it opens into a search bar. Number 3, Canada.
I can see why people are just, again, it's about the principle. It's not that I'm doing anything bad, but it's the principle. I'm not going to give you my phone. That's private. So no, I will not cross the border. That's it.
Canada's academic warning. When Canada issues a
Academic
travel
warning.
warning, people pay attention. But in 2025, it wasn't just the federal government raising red flags. It was one of the country's most trusted voices in education. The Canadian Association of University Teachers, representing over 72,000 professors, researchers, and academic staff, issued a rare travel advisory against visiting the United States.
Okay, that's
The warning
crazy.
wasn't vague. It specifically urged faculty to
Political
reconsider
instinct.
travel if they are transgender, racialized, politically
Oh.
outspoken, or belong to any marginalized community.
Okay,
The
so
re-
sort of targeted groups.
Reason? A growing pattern of harassment, invasive questioning, and unexplained detentions at the US border.
Have there been any unexplained detentions? That's insane to me.
This isn't politics, it's protection. The advisory recommends wiping phones, limiting personal data, and preparing to be flagged, not for what you carry, but for who you are.
That's insane because you have to delete everything on your phone. What on earth?
It warns that Canadians
You're not a criminal. Why should you do this?
may be detained, interrogated, or refused entry without justification, especially if they fall into one of those targeted groups. In response, universities across Canada have quietly updated their travel protocols. Legal departments are stepping in. Conferences that once felt routine in places like Boston, Chicago,
Yeah.
or New York are now being second-guessed or skipped entirely.
Of course.
Because when the country's scholars start avoiding your border, it's not just travel anxiety, it's a warning worth hearing. Number 4, the quiet pullback. Sometimes the signs of change aren't on the news, they're in the silence. That silence on the
yeah,
highways,
because- yeah, you get less visitors.
the empty bus seats, the hotel rooms that were booked a month ago and suddenly aren't. In early 2025, Canadian visits to the US dropped. A 23% decline in vehicle crossings, a sharp drop in hotel
Seeing all of this doesn't surprise me in one bit.
reservations across border towns in Maine and Michigan. One motel owner in Old Orchard Beach said it plainly. We're seeing cancellations we haven't seen in years, and it's all Canadians. But this isn't just about numbers. It's about something more unsettling, the shift in mood. Tour operators along the Quebec and Ontario borders say clients aren't angry. They're uneasy. They just don't want
Yeah.
to risk being searched, flagged, delayed, or turned away.
Yeah, you don't want to. It's your vacation, or it's your. You want to have fun. You don't want to get uncomfortable or have an awkward situation. You're just there to again for leisure.
Not for a day trip, not for shopping, not even for tradition. And so, they're backing off, quietly, collectively. The US-Canada border is still open, the lanes are still there, but the trust, the automatic "of course you're welcome" feeling, is fading. Because when everyday Canadians start saying, maybe not this year, it's not just travel habits changing, it's the relationship itself. Number 5, second-class treatment. This one isn't easy to prove, but if you've experienced it, you know it's real. In 2025, Canadians with Middle Eastern names, South Asian backgrounds, or Muslim identity are
Oh.
facing a different kind of border scrutiny. Longer interviews, more invasive questions, deeper inspections, and
But that's just racism, right?
often no explanation at all. It's not official policy, there's no press release, but it's
Oh.
happening, quietly.
Yeah, of course they're not going to tell you. It's a microaggression. They're not going to tell you they're doing this because of your name or how you look, but it's about this, of course.
Consistently and disproportionately. Legal advocates and civil rights groups in both Canada and the US have raised concerns about this growing pattern. Not detentions, not deportations, just discomfort, applied unevenly.
Yeah, they're gonna make people suffer, basically.
And it's not just policy that's shifting, it's perception. A recent AP NORC poll shows the percentage of Americans who see Canada as an ally or friend has dropped from 82% in 2023 to just 66% in 2025.
That's crazy. In just 2 years, the thing plummeted.
That's a 16-point drop in 2 years,
Yeah.
and it reflects something deeper than politics. Being Canadian once meant you could expect fairness at the border, a sense of trust baked into the passport itself. But now, that welcome depends on how you look, or who they think you might be. Number 6. Denied without reason. You can do everything
they're
right.
just denied entry?
Book your flights, hold a valid visa, show proof of return, and still, it might not be enough. Just ask Jasmine Mooney, a Canadian actress and entrepreneur. In 2024, she was traveling to Los Angeles to attend a business and film event on a valid U.S. work visa. But when she crossed the U.S.-Mexico border, she was stopped by border agents and taken into custody.
Custody?
She was detained for 12 days.
On what
It was
grounds?
dehumanizing, she told The Guardian. No one would explain what I did wrong, because I didn't do anything wrong. She was eventually deported and is now banned from re-entering the U.S.,
That's
and
crazy.
she's not alone. Dozens of Canadians have reported being denied entry without a clear reason. Sometimes it's because
Because, yeah, and I think they can just do this and they'll never tell you why. It's just, no, we can do this and we don't have to give you an answer.
agent feels the travel plans are unclear. Sometimes it's nothing at all.
What?
There's no formal charge,
What
no
do you mean your vacation plans are unclear? I'm going on a vacation. What?
appeal process, just a mark on your record, and a door that quietly closes behind you. In 2025, you don't have to break the rules to be turned away. You just have to make someone uncomfortable. Number 7. Once flagged, never forgotten.
Oh, of course.
The most unsettling part of crossing the
It's
U.S.
forever.
border in 2025? You may never know why you were stopped. And worse, you may never stop being watched.
Yeah, you're flagged.
A growing number of Canadians report a troubling pattern. Once flagged, denied, or questioned, they're more likely to be pulled aside again. Not
Yeah.
just once, but every time. Even with new
Can assist on your permanent record.
paperwork. Even years later. There's no official watch list for Canadians, no formal notification.
Yeah.
But travelers know when something changes.
When, of course, they're not going to tell you this, but people know.
When the questions get more specific, when the tone shifts, when you're treated like a file, not a person. The Canadian government warns travelers that U.S. border decisions are final, unappealable, and
Yeah.
often not explained. There's no way to know what triggered your status,
And you can't appeal this, so it's sort of, okay, I just have to take it, I guess.
and no way to erase it. It's not just border security anymore. It's institutional memory, quiet, persistent, and nearly impossible to escape. For many Canadians, the border no longer feels like a place you pass through. It feels like a system that remembers you, even when you've done nothing wrong. And in 2025, being remembered may be the most unwelcome feeling of all. So what does all of this really mean? The border didn't close. But for more and more Canadians, it doesn't feel as open as it used to. This isn't about one policy or one bad experience. It's about something deeper, a shift in trust. Am I still welcome there? That's the question echoing quietly across this country. If you've crossed the U.S. border recently, we want to hear from you. Your story might help others understand what's really changing. And if this video resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe. Because what's happening at the U.S. border today might shape how Canadians travel tomorrow.
Okay, I think this is crazy because I think Canadians didn't really expect this to happen. I think because obviously it's crazy and it shouldn't happen. But I think if one country is famously if a country I think it's famous for their sort of restrictive sort of views when it comes to entering the country, whether that is by a sort of a road border or just by, in an airport or something, is the USA. I think that for some countries, and I think for yeah, I mean, this is not going to be a surprise, I think, for other nationalities, but I think it definitely is for Canadians because I think, again, historically and famously, they were friendly neighbors and they didn't really, I think, for a really long period of time, not to say probably forever. I think Canadians were just expecting sort of go through, I don't know, from one backyard to another as it was sort of a normal thing because it kind of was until this particular point in time that I think they started being treated. I think, again, as other people from other countries kind of experience this, and obviously it's crazy because I don't think it's right, of course, but it is a little bit of, well, again, the US has done this historically with people from other countries, and again, they just kind of put Canada on the list. I think it would be a kind of crazy way to put it, but I definitely think that would be the case. And it is because of those things that they're flagged, for instance. Oh, they're not going to tell you, again, they're not going to tell what was suspicious about your sort of, I don't know what your answers were, or I don't know what about you made them suspicious. They're never going to tell you, oh, it was this or it was that. But again, you're going to be flagged forever. And that's just not for Canadians. It used to be for other people as well. Not just Canadians sort of included on that list. And the whole sort of denied without explanation. I think a lot of, and Canadians, I don't think have experience with this because I don't know, maybe obviously they need a work visa or they're going to study in the US. But I think for countries and people that do need visas to enter the USA, when the people go through the whole application process, they're going to tell you, well, you can be denied. We can deny the visa, and they're not going to explain to you why. You have obviously each country when they're giving you visas, they have their own sort of requirements and stuff. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think all countries do this as well. That again, they sort of you have the application process, and you can bring everything that they tell you to bring. But they sort of, we can deny it, and we don't have to explain to you why exactly we're denying this visa. And I think, again, I don't think it's just the US. I think all countries that do this, maybe I'm wrong. But I think obviously for Canadians, it's kind of weird because, unless, again, you're applying for a work visa or something, why would you? Because they don't need visa. They don't need a tourist visa to visit the USA. But again, it's kind of, now you're getting with the group of people that do need visas to enter the USA. So you know what the application is like and what the process is like, and you know that they can just deny this and then that's it. And you're not gonna be able to sort of be, hey, what I did something wrong, or what was it about it? No, they don't explain this. The discrimination, again, I think it's awful. Obviously, it's awful that this happens, but I think for some people, I think a lot of people actually probably have experienced this. And again, not just Canadians, but I think people from, I think, other sort of backgrounds, but like they said, of targeted sort of minorities, they've also experienced this, not just Canadians, but I think from other nationalities. And again, it's more like they're being lumped into this sort of other group of people. So it is bad, of course, because I don't think that should happen. I think as they're probably, there was something that they mentioned as if, oh, they'll treat you as if you were a second-class citizen, which of course that's not right. No one's better than anyone else, and least of all, because you're from another country, and yes, those citizens deserve to be treated better because they come from a particular place or they hold this passport. No, of course that's crazy, but sadly that's the way some sort of, I don't know if some countries, that's the country's policy, or I don't know if some people, because sometimes there are the agents that kind of do this, and it's not just a policy. It's not just a country's policy. I think sometimes it's just about the agent that's being assigned to you. So I really do think that's not going to come as a surprise for people that have entered, certain kinds of minorities that have entered the USA, because they can probably ask them and they'll tell you, I experienced this. But it's kind of a surprise for Canadians because they've never felt like this, because they've never been treated in this particular way. But it's crazy, and of course it is. But I think if we're moving past this, because obviously it's bad and it's wrong, I think we should, I think as a society, and I speak sort of broadly, I think everyone should sort of, well, we should step away from this and again stop treating people as less because they come from a certain place, or again, because, oh, it was kind of a sketchy situation. I feel suspicious. Why would you feel suspicious? I think most people, and again, maybe I'm wrong, but I think if people are trying to do things legally, as in, again, they're going through the whole application process for a visa, or they have their right paperwork, I don't know, whatever it is they're applying, or they're crossing the border sort of legally. You would think, well, yeah, if I'm trying to do this legally, I would assume you're not a criminal, because yes, you're going through the whole steps. So why would I be suspicious about it? And I'm thinking, as the agent, I would be, well, I would assume if someone's a criminal, they're going to do this on the download, and we're not going to be finding something weird, because again, everyone's trying to do this legally. I think when criminals try to enter a country, they're not going to do this like this. That's what I would assume. No, they're going to go through other methods or something. They're not going to take this whole thing. I think that's crazy to me, but maybe again, I don't have the preparation or the education that agents get. So again, that's just me maybe being a little bit innocent about the whole thing. But to me, I think that's just my opinion. It's, again, what would it be suspicious if you're sort of asking people at the border, hey, what are you going to do in the USA? In the United States, and people are going to be, chances are they're probably going to be, well, we're spending a day, especially I think for Canadians in the border, or again, oh, we're staying for a few months because we're retired and we wanna run away from the cold. That's not suspicious. That's just normal. Yeah, sure. Again, if these people were doing something illegal, I think I would be, well, you probably wouldn't be hearing about it, because again, they're criminals, and again, they don't want to get caught. So I think it would be wrong of me to be, I think that's quite suspicious, and I wouldn't start asking questions. I was like, I don't know, and where exactly are you going? Where are you staying? Because people, I don't know. We're gonna see where life takes us. I don't know. We don't have booked hotels because I know we're doing a road trip. Who cares? It's not gonna be suspicious to me. But apparently, again, that's why I'm not an immigration agent. But again, I think that's just very weird, because ask the criminals this, not people who are trying to do this legally. But again, whatever. But I guess I think the whole sort of thing obviously has to do with Trump, because that's where, what changed. Well, I would guess it was Trump, especially when you look at the numbers and see where I think obviously it was a change in his policies, and it is quite sad. I think however you look at it, it's quite sad, and it's bad for both, well, maybe less for Canadians actually, because even though maybe, it's bad that they can't take their vacations where they want to, and obviously I guess for convenience sake, because obviously it's your neighbor, it's going to be more convenient to sort of go over there, because again, it's very close to me. So now if I want to take a vacation, or I want to go somewhere sunnier, I probably have to go further south, so probably they go to Mexico. So I would assume, well, it's bad obviously for the United States. It's good for Mexico. They're going to get more tourists, and for Canadians, it's going to be a little bit of a hassle, but they're going to be okay. But who's not going to be okay? Well, the United States, because they're getting less visitors, they're getting less tourism, less visitors. That obviously translates to less money and in the economy. So the only one that's the only losing part in this equation is the United States. So it's a thing about, well, you're biting your nose to spite your face. But again, that's just my 2 cents. And that was it for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.